Today, we're going to break down the 5 hidden costs that pop up for real estate investors. If you're a new investor in particular, these costs will pop up on you and they can really crush your deal. So we need to go over them and make sure you're factoring them in. So understand, number one, you're going to have carrying costs. Try to factor in what they are and have a general understanding of how long the project is going to take, not only to rehab, but then to tenant based upon your monetization strategy. Number two, permits. Now, a good question when it comes to permits, because they can impact your carrying costs, is when should you pull them and when shouldn't you pull them? So there are some reasons to pull permits. If you're converting a property from a single family to a duplex or a duplex to a triplex, you're doing some type of conversion, you need to pull permits. You need to timestamp that thing. You need to get the city in on those things. You can't be taking a single, turn it into a duplex with no permits. You're going to get jammed up by license and inspection at some point, and it's going to cost you big to solve it. When you shouldn't pull them is if you have a single family, like an easy peasy, hey, we're going to go in, new flooring, retile the bathrooms, get rid of the cabinets, new countertop. If you're doing super cosmetic work, you really shouldn't waste time pulling permits. Number 3, GC fees and markups. With most deals, you're going to be dealing with GC fees and markups. Here's what happens to you, and here's where people get burned. So even if you paid attention to nothing else I've said, pay very close attention to this, right? So this is called the contractor game, and I talk about this in our course content. The contractor game is for a GC to come to you and offer you a low ball bid up front. And then they're going to start running up surprise costs later. That's the contractor game. What I've seen is if you get 3 bids and one is 120, one is 110, and one is 60, the 60 is the scam bid. The 120 is the high bid. The 110 or the 105, that's kind of like the balance bid where they're giving you a reasonable price. The pricing has to match the cost of construction. I mean, the cost of materials and labor. It has to match closely. There is a cost. There is a general cost, and you can't get below it because then you just can't get the labor done. You can't get the labor done. You got to cut corners, or you can't buy the materials. I had guys so bad that they were trying to steal materials from other properties to put them in your property because they literally ran out of money. They didn't have the money to do the job. So you have to get the right price. You can protect yourself with things like clear scopes of work, penalties for not hitting deadlines, but how you really protect yourself in this game is controlling the money. It's one of our mindset principles. One of the first things you learn as a 24/7 cash flow member, as a new mentee. Your first thing you're going to learn in your mindset hacks is how to control the money. Let's get into these financing costs. So you do have to factor in your financing costs. I struggled with this when I was new because I had never dealt with a hard money lender before. So I just didn't know, what does it cost? How much do they charge? And they're like, quote, oh, we do 3 and 12. What does that mean? Inexperienced investors, they always underestimate the cost. They just don't know what they are. So I don't know if it's an underestimation or just a lack of estimating at all what those costs are be. But you need to understand that. Number 5, highest and best use value. So when you're thinking about your costs of a deal, you can cost yourself maybe more money here than anywhere by not understanding the highest and best use of the property. You need to understand how to properly value add deals. You need to understand all of the high value strategies, how they're utilized, how they're implemented. Can you do them? What are the red flags? You have to get to highest and best use.